So for this book review, we're going to talk about The Fault in Our Stars. Okay? Okay. No, not okay. The feels are strong with this one. So, The Fault in Our Stars. If you have not heard of The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, I don't know where you've been, because it has been everywhere. The movie is about to come out, the book has been around for a while, and everyone just loves it. So, I'm not the first one to be talking about it. It's basically what I'm trying to say. So, it is a young adult contemporary novel. I'm going to start off with a quick summary. Basically, two teens fall in love. They have cancer. It wasn't that hard. It's basically it, the main gist of the story. So the plot. Depressing. Sad. Two kids with cancer. What do you think? It's going to be a happy story? I don't think so. Very sad. I cried at the end. Not a lot. I thought I was going to cry a lot more, but I did indeed cry. But despite it being sad, it was also very cute and funny, and I love the relationship between Gus and Hazel. They're so cute. And this is one of the very few contemporary novels that I actually like, because typically contemporary novels tend to bore me because, ooh, real life situations, who hasn't heard about that before? But this isn't a life situation that a lot of us go through, which I think made it a lot more interesting. I just thought it was fantastic, really. It was really great. The dialogue was smart and funny, and I just love how they communicated with each other. It was so cute. Just absolutely loved it. It was a little bit surprising at some points, but I was spoiled by the end of it, so thanks Tumblr. But besides that, I was still sad by everything that happened, and there was some surprising twists, even though I kind of saw it coming. It wasn't like it was no variant by Robinson Wells, but yeah, it was great. So for the characters, our main characters are Hazel and Gus, obviously, but there was also another character, Isaac, who I really liked. He didn't really get a lot of time in the book, but I still really enjoyed his character, and I liked how he was kind of coping. He had, something in his cancer in his eyes or something like that, and he ended up going blind, and he had this tough breakup with his girlfriend, and I liked Isaac. I loved how he seemed human, going up with a breakup. He wasn't just like, you know what, it's fine, get over it, We do have those breakups where we get really sad about stuff like that. And in the end, he did, move on from just sobbing a lot, but, we do need that time to grieve about stuff like that. Hazel. Now, I understand that Hazel cannot usually be, a likable character. I can see why some people would find her kind of snooty, but I liked her. I liked her a lot. I wouldn't agree with some of the things she did half the time, but, who am I to judge, really? I thought her character was really smart and really intelligent and very realistic. That's the thing that I really loved, is these characters all felt realistic, and that's why I think it was even more heartbreaking near the end of the book. Now, Gus. I loved Gus so much, Augustus. He was just a brilliant character. I love how he was, very charming and kind of walked like he owned the world, and I just love people who have that much confidence. The one thing that kind of brought him down was sometimes he overthought things, and I am acknowledging that some of these characters do have flaws, but they're real people. Real people have flaws, and that's why I like them so much, is because they are flawed people. And it made them feel more realistic, and I really, really liked it. I also found it, interesting how they didn't want anyone's pity, yet everyone always, pitied them, I felt bad for them, and they're like, oh, no, we don't want your pity, we're just human. And I get where that's coming from, because sometimes you just want to be treated normally, and I totally get that, if something's happened to you, if you ever got hurt or something, people will treat you differently, pretend to be your friend for a little while. Say you're in a wheelchair, so all of a sudden everyone's your best friend, asking you how you've been and wants to push you around in your wheelchair and be a big help and go down the elevator with you or whatever. So I totally get where Hazel's coming from, but at the same time, you can't help but feel sorry for them. It's just so sad. Now, the writing style. So this is my first John Green book that I've ever read. I know. I'm definitely going to read more of his books, because if someone can make contemporary novels interesting to me, then I'm definitely going to read their books again, because they are doing something right. I love how the dialogue was very smart, the thinking was very smart. I loved how Hazel and Gus would talk about this book that they shared. They had intelligent conversations about the book, and what do you think happened at the end? It was very wide open. I loved how they can share their thoughts through that book, and I thought that was a really cool way to kind of introduce yourself to somebody. Here's my favorite book. If you want to know a thing or two about me, you should read this book. It tells a lot about me. So lastly, my overall enjoyment. I love this book. I loved it so much. It was very sad, and like I said, I cried near the end, and there was one moment in the middle where I got a little teary-eyed. There was many points where I got a little teary-eyed, but I did cry at the end. Probably, I didn't cry that long. There was no Merlin season finale. That was bad. But at the same time, it was also funny and charming, and I cannot wait for this movie. So overall, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It really made you think about some things. Just very enjoyable, realistic characters that you can relate to, even if, you don't have cancer. But yeah, this book is brilliant, and if you haven't picked it up yet, which I'm almost certain that I was one of the last people to pick up this book, if I didn't have friends who are planning to read this book after me, just go read it. You need to read it. It's a great book, and definitely I think the movie is going to be just as brilliant. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to see it. So now on to the discussion part. This is the part where it's going to get spoilery, and I'm going to talk a little more in depth about the story. So see you if you haven't read the book, which I highly doubt that you haven't, but oh well. Now from Tumblr, like I said, I was spoiled, so I knew that Gus had died, and I was kind of stealing myself, where I was alright, you can't get attached to this character, it's just not going to end well for you. But of course, how could you not fall in love with Gus? I also love how this book had many quotable things from it. Had some really, really beautiful language in it, and I loved how Hazel was very smart. She was very smart, but at the same time she didn't feel it was John Green talking through her. No, this was Hazel. She was smart. She's not a 60-year-old man philosopher, talking through a 17-year-old girl, or 16. Forgive me. No, this was Hazel Lancaster. She was talking. I also love Hazel and Augustus's relationship. It was so great. I hate when sometimes you dive into a novel and they kind of go headlong into the romance. But this, I didn't feel like it. Gus kind of had an eye for her and, thought she was pretty or beautiful. And we kind of understand why she kind of stood out to him at first. He looked like a girl that he already knew and kind of dated before. But then they kind of got to know each other a little more through talking about the books that they gave each other. And I just thought that was such a cool way to meet each other. If I met a cool guy, I thought, maybe we could be cool friends, and I'd give him a book and we'd talk about books, and, we'd trade books and talk about, our favorite parts and what we loved about it. That is such a cool way to, get to know somebody. Seriously. And so I love how, they obviously hit it off, they liked each other. He liked her. They obviously had a good friendship, and I loved seeing it grow. And definitely, it was just so sweet. He was so sweet to her, how he took her to see the author. And can we just talk about how much of a dickwad he was? I kind of sensed something was going to be wrong, because it was just too perfect. Everything was too perfect. It had to come apart, right? Of course, I figured it would come apart at the end. I don't know what was going to happen. But he was smart. He was rude. And I really, really, I was happy when Hazel kind of stuck it to him. This is bullcrap. We came all this way to see you and to talk about your books, and we were going to figure out what happened at the end, and he was just completely rude. Not but I also like that at the end he had a lot more depth to him, and you got to see kind of why he was a little bit, rude. It was kind of explained. Of course, it wasn't excused, but, it was explained, and it was sad. Like I said, this was an all-around sad book, but I also loved the charm that it had to it. The funny dialogue, and it was fantastic. And so, I'm going to leave off there by saying, I can't wait for the movie. I know I will have to bring tissues. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Feel free to discuss the book with me down below and how excited you are for the movie or anything else. Or if you didn't like it, tell me why. Because I know there are some people saying, that they didn't like it. And I like to discuss it, in a nice, mannered way. That'd be great. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys about everything. Because to me, this was an incredible book. And I'd love to discuss it with you guys. So, as always, have a great day. Read a great book. And I'll see you all later. Bye. So if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Doodly, and Game Center, all at Kaylin318. You can also follow me at Goodreads, Tumblr, and Google Plus at Seeker for Stories. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys with my next video. Bye!